What is up, guys? Welcome back to today's 1 Minute Clinic. And before we get started, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 2,500 so that we can start these collaboration videos with other YouTube channels. Also, if you want your question turned into a 1 Minute Clinic, comment your questions down below. I have a whole sheet of all the questions that are coming in, and I've got them in order. If you want yours tackled, just comment down below. Let me know what you want me to cover in the next 1 Minute Clinic. Today's question comes from Tobias Leonardborn 2238. I hope I said that whole thing correctly. Tobias asks, I would love to see a drop shot lesson. It's a problem area for me, technique as well as when to use it. So obviously we will get into the ins and outs of using a drop shot, best times to pull it out, what the technical aspects of it are, and what your tactics and goals should be. Let's put 1 minute on the clock and get started with today's 1 Minute Clinic. So the first thing that people tend to mess up when they're trying to do a drop shot is they actually try to hit a soft slice, or they try to carve under their drop shots. Drop shots are actually technically completely different than those shots that I just mentioned. When you're hitting your drop shot, you actually deflect incoming pace. You don't try to hit the ball softly away from you. So if I was to try and stop that ball right here, all I do is hold my racket at the right spot, and the ball pretty much stops. All I'm doing is controlling the outgoing pace. I'm not trying to make the ball stay here, which is what you'll see most people do with their drop shots. So your first job is understanding that you're absorbing incoming pace. You're not trying to send it away softly. So most people will try to make the ball go away from them softly. All you're doing is basically turning the power down. Taking that idea into account, what we're going to do here is just control how much power leaves our racket and try to get the ball to fall on the other side of the net. But this is crucial. Do not try to hit the ball low and soft. This is the second mistake people make. They try to get that ball to stay low, and they try to get that ball to barely clear the net. The problem with that right there is you actually increase the distance from one bounce to the next. Because I'm hitting the ball low, let's say my racket is the net, whatever happens on one side of the net, as it clears the net, is probably going to happen on the other. If you hit the ball higher on your side, however, so let's say, again, I'm on this side and I'm hitting the ball to that side of the net. If I hit the ball higher on my side, then it falls down on the other side of the net, putting those bounces closer together. Whereas if you hit it just barely over the net, this is the highest point. So whatever happens on this side of the arc has to happen on the other side. Watch me hit the ball high now, and look at how many bounces we get on the service line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It didn't even make it outside the service box. Whereas if I was to try and hit the ball low and soft with that same idea, 1, 2, 3, and it eventually makes it past the ball that I dropped over there. Now, you can hit drop shots lower if you're close to the net, but when you're hitting drop shots at the service line or blue line and you're trying to have disguise on it and sell it as you're about to hit a ball hard and then change it, you want your height to be on your side of the net. That way the ball drops on the other side of the net, and then you put those bounces closer together. So tip number 2, aside from absorbing the incoming pace, is have the high point on your side of the net so that the ball actually falls on the other side of the net. I'm going to change the angle just so you can see what I mean by that. So looking at it from this angle, as I hit the ball soft and low, it comes past the camera, whereas if I hit the ball soft and higher, it drops in front of the net. Look how many bounces that we have right there, and if my person was at the baseline, they'd have to run closer to the net. Even though the ball stays low on a softer, low drop shot, the bounces carry into the court, which basically means my opponent would have less distance that they have to run. The goal is always to make them run as far as possible, making it more difficult for them to actually get to the shot. Even if you give them a split second longer, it's still more distance that they have to cover. Now, when you talk about tactically when to use a drop shot, I put drop shots into 2 categories: the respect-driven drop shot and the movement-driven drop shot. Respect-driven drop shot means you make the person anticipate your aggressive shot because you've hit that shot a bunch of times. So let's say you're standing at the service line or blue line and you've been going big and making them have to back up to track a lot of your aggressive shots. When you come up for number 7, let's just say that how many times you've already done it. When you come up for number 7, you're forcing them to respect your ability to hit this shot first. So they should be backing up in anticipation of it. that's when you're going to switch up and use the drop shot. So make them respect the fact that you've been trying to hit through them most of the time, and then the drop shot would be more effective. As long as you don't run in selling it like this, and you actually can hold your racket up in a normal setup position and then make the change, you should be golden with trying to make them respect your attack and then change it up. Now, the movement-driven drop shot is a little bit different. That is all based off of where the ball went the last time. So as you see, I'm hitting short balls over to that side of the court. And most people would think if you hit the ball over there, then your drop shot should be in the court on this side. That isn't inherently bad. If you hit a good shot over there, you are making them run a long distance. But there is a more effective way. Both of them are acceptable, but there's a more effective way if you do this correctly. So by making the person have to stay in that corner longer, by me attacking that ball into that space, what you do is you kind of pin the person into a position where they're forced to anticipate that the next shot should be going over there. Going back to that respect-driven drop shot, if I hit a hard shot over there, the person knows that this whole space on the court is available, so they start to run in that direction. So if I hit this combination instead, so I take my first ball and I attack it over there, they have to run and get that one, then I set up to go that way, and I drop it on the same side. The person trying to get out of that corner has already committed really hard to running back to the opening on the court. Now they have to take all that energy and turn it down and make a big turn and come back around. That's actually one of the most effective ways to use the drop shot. Those are actually the ones that you see people not run for. The angle here, people will usually at least attempt because they're already on that way and it's easy to make a slight adjustment and start running forward. The one where they have to make the turn and come back around, those are the ones you usually see people just split and not move for. So those two drop shot combinations are very effective. Just remember, you have to make them either respect your ability to hit through the court and then drop, or you have to pin them into a corner, make them respect the big opening that's left there, and they have to commit to the opening, and then you hit your drop shot into the open space. That's going to wrap up today's 1 minute clinic, guys. I'm really trying to condense these things down, but a lot of times the things you guys ask for go a little bit longer, but I'm happy to help as much as I can. Again, if you want your questions answered and put into a 1 minute clinic, comment the questions down below. I'll add them to the list and I'll get to them in the order that they're coming in. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.